hand out, demanding that I pay the money that I work for. At least that's what you say. But what gives you that power? Who died and made you boss? I'm barely getting by today. I can't afford that loss. So if you don't show some legal obligation that I pay, put your hand back in your pocket.
Well, hello there. I'm Hartwell Broussard, and I welcome you to Help, the program with help and a request for help. The reason help is needed is because America is in distress. If you notice in the background, the American flag is displayed upside down. When a flag is displayed upside down, it is done so as a distress signal. If you wish to confirm that, go to the United States Code, Title 36, Chapter 10, Paragraph 176A. My goal is to help you to understand why America is in distress. And hopefully you will do something to help get us out of this dire situation that we are in. For this program, I will be helping you by showing you part 1 of a video entitled Last Man Out by William Rodriguez. William Rodriguez is a true hero. But before showing you part 1 of the video entitled Last Man Out, I would like to mention once again that I've been putting out effort here in Abbeville, Louisiana to get the city council members and the mayor to pay attention to Agenda 21. Well, I went back in front of them again. And at the end of this program, I will be explaining to you how that went. But for now, here is part 1 of the video entitled Last Man Out.
Tonight, Sade Badorwa at Ground Zero with a story of a custodian turned rescuer. Sade.
Well, Bill and Liz, as you mentioned, there were many heroes that day, ordinary people doing extraordinary things like William Rodriguez. He worked at the North Tower as a custodian for 20 years. And when Flight 11 slammed into the tower, instead of running from danger, he ran straight to it.
I got an eyewitness who said there was an explosion on floor 7-8. 7-8. Say to dispatch, we've just had another explosion. Warren Street because of the secondary explosion. We've got numerous people covered with dust from the secondary explosion. And we got another explosion on the tower, 1013, 1013. Number 2 has had a major explosion and what appears to be a complete collapse surrounding the entire area. Who's involved in the secondary explosion at Tower 1K?
My next guest has been honoured 5 times for outstanding courage. As New York came under attack on September the 11th, 2001, janitor William Rodriguez bravely remained in the North Tower to help save dozens of lives, and he was the last man out as the tower was collapsing.
He is the last man out of the Twin Towers, and he's here with us live tonight. He's also on a lecture tour of Northern Europe, and I'll tell you if he's coming to a town near you a little bit later on. William, nice to see you. Thank you very much indeed for joining us.
Rodriguez worked at the North Tower. He was a custodian responsible for cleaning the stairwell. On the morning of 9/11, he was in the basement.
I had the only master key that opened all the doors in the tower, and as a matter of fact, this is the key that
Is
opened.
that it? Can I touch it?
They call it the key of hope.
If you hadn't had that master key, you wouldn't be here tonight, and a lot more people would be dead.
Hundreds of people would have been dead, definitely. I went floor by floor, opening the doors, followed by the fire department, as I led people outside the floors.
I've spoken to engineers as well who say that an aeroplane flying into these towers would not have brought them down the way they came.
Well, what I'm saying, there was a huge explosion, and basically, I am not an expert on explosives. I don't know how you make a bomb or anything like that, but if it sounds like a bomb, you know, I'm not here to speculate on that. It sounded very, very loud, like a bomb. We hear boom! An explosion so loud that pushed us upwards on the air.
So your tour, Last Man Out, is to publicise your version of events as opposed to the official version.
Great tragedies, great events, enormous occasions like this, they throw up leaders. And you've become a leader. You were a caretaker looking after the stairs. Now you're wonderfully eloquent on platforms, on radio, on television. You're coming across the world and speaking to people.
Because it's a mission.
Because
you see,
you're driven by this desire to get to the bottom of this, to get to the truth.
Yes.
It's a fantastic thing. William Rodriguez, you're a great man. You're a survivor. From one survivor to another.
Yes.
Let me wish you every success in your campaign to establish the truth about 9/11.
Thank you.
On 9/11, I came into work late. I was supposed to be there at 8 o'clock in the morning, every day, 8 o'clock. That day I wake up late. And I called the job and I said, I'm not going to work. They said, no, you have to make it. You see, I was in charge of all the stairwells of the North Tower. I have to clean them from the 106th floor all the way down to the first floor. One person. Nobody else wanted to do that job. So if I didn't go to work, that meant that somebody was going to be sent, and then that person will not work for 3 days because the legs will be shaking. True. So I have to make it to work. I made it at 8:30 to the World Trade Center. I went straight to the basement. The building had 6 sub-levels of basement. Basement number 1, basement number 2, basement number 3, all the way down to basement number 6. The support office for my company, American Building Maintenance, was located on the B1 office. B1 level, basement 1. And I was talking to the supervisor, Anthony Saltalamacchia. We just talking about the distribution of work for that day, etc. And then Anthony, started talking to me at the front door, the front entrance of the office. And at 8:46, we hear, boom! An explosion so loud and so hard that pushed us upwards in the air. Push us upwards. Think about this. And the first thing that comes to my mind is that a generator just blew up on the mechanical room. The mechanical room was located on the basement number 2. I was on basement number 1. And again, remember, this was so loud that the walls cracked, the false ceiling, exactly like the one that you have over here, fell on top of us. The sprinkler system got activated. Everybody screaming. There's 14 people in the area. They're all screaming in horror. And when I'm going to verbalize that it's a generator, you see, on the mechanical room, you have all the generators, all the power pumps for the building. Everything that was mechanical was there. So it made sense to me. Not that it was a generator. So when I went to verbalize it, we hear, pa! 2 different events. That was the plane on the top. There was an explosion prior the plane hitting the building. A person comes running into the office saying, explosion, explosion, explosion. His hands extended, and all the skin pulled from under his armpits on both arms, hanging on the top of the fingertips. Imagine you take off a glove and you let it hanging. And I didn't know what it was. It was his skin. And when I said, what happened? He was in a shock. And what appeared to be a red shirt, then we realized as he got closer is that he was drenched in blood. This guy was burned 33% of his body, 33%. And as he got closer and everybody realized that, Horror, everybody screaming, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And as he got closer, we realized all this part of his face was hanging. And I say, don't move, because I was going to go inside the office to pick up the phone to call the emergency medical unit that was located on the south tower. The north tower and the south tower connected through the basement. There was like a big loop, but they connected through the basement. And they were very efficient to get there. So I went to tell them that I have an injured person in the office. When I went to pick up the phone, bah! Another explosion. Very loud, very powerful. The floor started moving below us, and everybody started running to the door frames because they thought it was an earthquake. And they're all piling up by the door frames, all of them. And when I see that, my supervisor, Anthony Saltalamaica, started screaming, it's a bomb, it's a bomb. But why is he saying that? Because he survived the bomb of 1993. A van was placed on our side of the building, same basement, way below, and it blew up. And it killed 6 people, 1,000 people were injured. And of course, he is acting on his memory. It's a bomb, it's a bomb, it's a bomb. Was it a bomb? I don't know. I'm not an expert on explosive. I don't know what it was. What did blow up in there? Was that investigated? Never. But of course, when that's happening, the floor is moving, and people think it's an earthquake. Everybody's just piling up, like I said, and nobody's helping the poor man. Felipe is there in shock with his skin hanging. He is bleeding. His shirt was totally red with blood. And remember, this was in 2001 when we had the AIDS scare. Nobody wanted to touch anybody with blood. I took a towel and I put it around them and I said, we gotta get out, we gotta get out, we gotta get out now, because nobody was doing anything. I put Mr. Felipe David on my shoulder and I said, please follow me. And they started to follow me with Felipe and another guy as we go to the front of the loading dock. We went down and then we went up a hill up to the moment that we get outside the building. When we get outside the building, we see an ambulance. We put Felipe inside the ambulance, and he goes into a coma. You know, when the person goes into a coma, they start putting adrenaline and trying to revive him. And that's when I hear for the first time, a plane hit the building, a plane hit the building. There was a security guard standing, the guard that led trucks go inside the loading dock, standing there. His radio was saying, a plane hit the building. So of course, when I see him and I see everybody's looking up like this. So I turn around and I look up, and when I look up, what do I see? I saw the hole, I saw the fire, I saw the smoke, and the smoke was so dense that it covered the top of the building. It covered all the way to the antenna. And that's when I reacted. I said, oh my God, the people from Windows, the people from Windows. Meaning Windows of the World. That was a restaurant that was located on the 106th floor. You see, I was supposed to be there. I came in late. I will go every day to the 106th floor to start my cleaning routine, and I will have breakfast. They gave me breakfast for free. Every day I will eat there for free. So I knew all those people, all 67 members from Windows of the World that died. They were my friends. So of course, the first thing that I said, we gotta go back. We have to go back. Nobody wanted to go back. The supervisor that I just pulled out, a guy twice my size, weightlifter, all of a sudden it's, Rodriguez, you stay here. You're not going back in there. See, I just push you out. You're not going in. See, those are people there. Our workers are in there. And I took the radio from the security guard. I said, I'm going in. I said, forget you. Actually, it was something else. And I started running inside the building. Again, through the hill, down to the basement, and I went to the South Tower. And the reason that I went to the South Tower was that there they have something called the OCC, the Operation Control Center, which was a center that was built after the bomb of 1993 to basically oversee everything that was emergency. So I went over there because I was supposed to be man 24/7. And I started hitting with the radio the windows to get help. help, help, help. It was empty. There was nobody there. And that was never investigated. Where were the people that were supposed to be there? I see a person called Jimmy Barrett coming up from the subgrades of the South Tower. I said, what's going on? He didn't even know what was happening because he was way below on the other tower. And that gives you an indication how many people probably died without ever knowing what was going on the other tower. And I told him, out of my, desperation, oh, there was an explosion, a person is burned, the people that were in the office, Anthony, I took everybody out. Total desperation. He said, you gotta get out, you gotta get out. And then I looked to the left, and between the two towers, on the basement, we had an employee entrance for the Marriott Hotel. There was a hotel between the two buildings. And there, on a podium, there was a lady, security guard, holding the podium and trembling. He said, what are you doing here? Get out now. And you know what she said? I heard everything, but I cannot leave. He said, what? Get out now. He said, I heard everything, but I cannot leave because I am a new employee and I don't want to get fired. And I don't want to get fired. The ignorance, because we didn't know what was going on. You see, you have more information because everything was televised live all over the world than we did inside the building. And remember, we have over 1,000 people trying to use the radio communication, two radio communication, A and B. That's it. So it was total mayhem. And I said, you gotta get out, you gotta get out. Push that lady out of the building and went straight to the North Tower, again, the basement. When I get to the North Tower, I only found one person there, the guy in charge of the recycling company. Guy that worked for the recycling company. And he said, I hear screams, I hear screams. But I couldn't hear anything. Why? Because the sound from the water on the sprinkler system was this way. That's the only thing you heard. All the sprinkler system. And there were more than 150 lifts in the complex. More than 150. So I put my ear in one of the lifts. It was a freight lift called the K6 car. And what do I hear? Help! 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 Two people screaming in horror that they needed help. And then they say something that really struck me. They said, we're gonna drown! Now, this is a lift. And they're saying we're gonna drown. That, I couldn't compute that mentally. But think about this. All the water from the sprinkler system was going down the shaft. And these people, what happened was, there was an explosion below us, and they went inside the lift to protect themselves. The doors closed, and instead of going up, they went down, they lost power, and they got encapsulated between two levels, between the B2 and the B3 level, encapsulated. And the water was going all the way in with such a force, and it wasn't coming out at the same rate. And I'm hearing this screaming and horror, and I didn't know what to do. And I was a person that was totally agnostic. I didn't believe in anything. And for the first time I said, agnostic, God, please help me. First time. And when I look around, I found a metal pipe in an area that was supposed to be clean, like a miracle. Picked up that pipe, and with the help of the other guy, we opened the door. The door opened this way, remember. When the bottom door hits the floor, all the water that is on my side goes rushing in. And there's no lift there. It's just an empty shaft because they're way below. So when I look down, what do I see? These two people looking up in this cage in horror with water up to here. And you see, the freight lift is different than a passenger lift because it doesn't have a roof like a regular one. It's just a metal mesh, and you can see it through. And I see these two guys with water up to here. I say, what can I do? What can I do? And they're in horror. Help! 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 And of course, again, agnostic, I said, God, help me, please help me. And like a flash, my memory reminds me that in the area where they have the trash compactors for the two towers, the electricians always have ladders that they use to...
What you have just seen is part 1 of the video entitled Last Man Out, Please watch for part 2 in a future program. And now, like I mentioned at the beginning of this program, at this time I was going to talk more about my effort to get the city council members and the mayor here in Abbeville, Louisiana, to pay attention to Agenda 21. So I went back in front of them with a question. And that question was, what is the reason why I cannot put an RV on a lot here in Abbeville and live in it? Well, the attorney took over and he gave me all kind of dates and numbers and this and that and the other, and he didn't answer my question. People, that is Agenda 21. The reason why I cannot put an RV on a lot here in Abbeville, Louisiana cannot be answered by the city council members or the mayor or the attorney or anyone else. Agenda 21 is about abolishing all land rights. George Washington said, "Government is a necessary evil," and I fully agree. These people here in Abbeville, Louisiana, sitting on the city council and the mayor, wants to take from the people their right to be able to use their land the way they wish to use it. They will not let someone here in Abbeville, Louisiana, put an RV on a lot here and live in it. That is Agenda 21. One man was asked to try to answer my question, and he put out a lot of effort. He explained that RVs were not up to code. And I explained to them that an RV is designed and built to bounce up and down highways for tens of thousands of miles. And then parked on a lot, hooked up to electricity, and the wires do not short out any more than a house sitting on pillars. All of their excuses or reasons were bogus. What they're doing is taking from the people their God-given rights. And let me tell you something, if you are young, you better become informed about things like Agenda 21 and what is happening to the country you're living in. Or you are going to wind up living under a bridge with the snakes and the mosquitoes. I can help you to become more informed about what is happening by encouraging you to visit my website, which is www.ccovp.org. There's a bunch of links to other websites, real good websites, that you can become informed by going to them and paying close attention to what they're telling you. If you are young, you better pay attention, because let me tell you something. The ones that are destroying America know what they're doing. They just don't want you to know what they're doing, and I'm trying to help you to realize that you need to know what they are doing. Think about it. Until next time. And until next time, may all your sunsets set right, and may the good Lord bless you both, day and night.
And you're fighting on the wrong side, but you haven't got a prayer. Show me the love. Show me the love. Yeah, your income tax extortion plot